Welcome to DerekWeaver.com. In this video we will demonstrate the assembly and use of the WMJ2 motorcycle wheel balancer adapter kit using the W937 wheel balancer. Your WMJ2 will come packaged in a box similar to this box. The box contains the following items: the WMJ2 user manual, the WMJ2 shaft, cone, and spacer kit, the distance gauge extension, the Allen bolts to hold the clamp, and finally the MJ2 wheel clamp. To install the WMJ2, you will need a 15mm combination wrench and a 6mm Allen head wrench. Begin the installation by placing the wheel clamp over the stub shaft on the machine and lining the holes in the flange with the holes in the wheel clamp, and install the Allen head bolts. Next, thread the 14mm shaft into the stub shaft. Once it's snug, you can finish tightening it using the combination wrench, 15mm combination wrench. The final step in the installation is the distance gauge extension. The back of the distance gauge extension is spring-loaded to keep it in place. Raise the distance gauge, insert the nipple on the distance gauge into the distance gauge extension, and pull the spring-loaded piece back to hold the distance gauge extension in place. Now we will demonstrate the mounting procedure using the WMJ2. Note, care must be taken with the industry standard 14mm shaft during the mounting procedure. First, expand the clamps to their locked position. Choose the proper cone size and verify the cone fits in the ID of the wheel. Place the first cone on the shaft. Now we will place the wheel on the shaft. This particular wheel has the drive component and disc removed. In most instances, it's safe to balance with those components installed. Be careful placing the wheel on the shaft so we don't damage the shaft. Place your second cone. At this point, you can release the clamp. Place two spacers on the shaft to take up the excess space for this particular wheel. And last, install your thumb screw. Tighten the thumb screw until it's snug. Now we're ready to enter the dimensions for this wheel and balance this wheel. Begin the balancing procedure by placing the machine in motorcycle mode, hit the MOT button, and static mode, hit the D/S button. Now we'll begin entering the dimensions for this wheel. First, obtain the distance dimension by sliding the distance gauge out and touching it to the bead of the wheel. Note the distance here is 120. To enter the distance dimension, use the DIS plus or DIS minus key. Press the button to adjust the dimension until you get to 120. Now we will obtain the width dimension by placing the pointers on the distance gauge on either side of the wheel. Note the dimension on the distance gauge is 5. Enter the distance dimension using the BR plus or BR minus key and adjust that dimension until it shows 5 in the outer window. We can find the wheel diameter stamped on the sidewall of the tire here, 17 inches. Enter the diameter dimension using the DIA plus or DIA minus button. Push the button until 17 inches shows in the outer window. Now that we've entered our dimensions, we can initiate a spin cycle by pushing the start button. After the wheel breaks, you can rotate the wheel until all of the LED lights to the left of the outer window are lit. At this point, we can place our weight requirements, ½ ounce, at the 12 o'clock position. Clean the rim. And place the required weight amount, which is ½ ounce, at the 12 o'clock position. After placing the required weight on the wheel, we initiate a final spin cycle by pressing the start button to verify the wheel is balanced. At the end of the spin cycle, the machine asks for no weight, which tells us this wheel is balanced. The optional MJ1 has a 19mm shaft and is 1 inch longer than the MJ2. The MJ1 is recommended for tire sizes larger than 180mm, as well as heavier wheel tire assemblies. The MJ1 comes with a 19mm shaft, 1 set of cones that will do up to 2-inch axle, spacers, and a shaft extension.